Hey guys, it's Tally. Now if you've been keeping up with my videos lately, you know that I'm on week 12 of my IIFYM Cut for my photo shoot in this upcoming May. My photo shoot is on May 16th. I'm just going to be doing a gym shoot, kind of like an athletic sporty style photo shoot, so I'm cutting down for that using flexible dieting and the macros based approach. If you've been following along with the last few videos, you know that I'm also starting to incorporate intuitive eating into my lifestyle as much as possible, and that I am starting to have one non-track day every week just to learn how to trust myself with my body and with food again. And in case I haven't mentioned it enough, I've been reading this book and I highly recommend it. As of today, I am about 5 weeks away from my photo shoot. But before we get started, I wanted to clarify that I am still tracking my macros. I'm still using flexible dieting for the remainder of my cut. However, what I'm doing is trying to apply as many principles as possible from intuitive eating to the way I choose my food, be more mindful about how much I eat, what I eat, when I eat, make sure that I'm really hungry and not just getting emotionally hungry because I'm bored or angry or stressed or whatever it might be. But anyway, I know some of you have been asking, so I'll let you know real quick. My macros still are at 180 grams of carbs, 140 grams of protein, and 50 grams of fat a day. I'm not switching them around just because I'm having one non-tracking day a week. I'm also doing cardio 4 to 5 times a week for about 30 minutes of just walking on an incline on a treadmill. So you might have noticed that I have not actually dropped my carbs or my food intake to make up for the day of not tracking. That's because I just want to normalize it as much as possible. I don't want this to be a go cheat and splurge on everything you possibly can and fit as much food in your mouth as you possibly can kind of day. I want it to be a day where I'm being very conscious and learning to trust myself and learning to trust my body's signals and listen to my body's signals, and really differentiate between emotional eating and eating out of hunger and eating for satisfaction. So with that being said, I'm not really changing my programming just because I have one non-track day, and that's because I do want to normalize it as much as possible. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, ultimately I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing after the cut. I definitely want to try to maintain my weight as much as possible, hopefully put on some muscle mass. I'm not going to do any sort of bulk, I just want to maintain. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that through intuitive eating or through macronutrient tracking or some sort of combination of both. So I will keep you guys in the loop as I find out, but I don't know yet, so I don't know. Anyway, so what you are about to see is actually some footage from the first day from my first unofficial non-tracking day, and it was on a Saturday. But you'll definitely see some food porn from that day a little later on in the video. So without further ado, let's get started. What's going on, you guys? It is Friday night. I am at my mom's house. I don't want to record while we're having dinner because I like to actually be able to sit down and record a meal without necessarily like pulling out a camera and vlogging about it, because I think that's important as well, and it's all about that balance. So I'm recording a little bit while everybody's stressing out in the kitchen and getting dinner ready, which also puts me in a position where I don't really need to help, so that's awesome as well. My mom is preparing some swai fillets, which are very, very tasty. I know not very many people know of them, but swai it's called shark catfish. It's not a shark, it's basically a catfish. It's a white fish. Doesn't taste very fishy at all. So it looks a little bit like tilapia, but it's flaky, kind of like fish and chips, I would say, almost. And you can, you know, batter it up or do whatever with it. It's very high. You know how the cars are always trolling me? Now my grandma is talking in the background in Russian, so you guys don't even understand. So just yelled at my grandma because of that. Ooh, lighting here is better. But anyway, it's kind of bad that I yelled at my grandma. Swai fish is very, very, very tasty. It's very low in fat because it is a white fish. It's very high in protein. It's just a really nice fish. You can batter it up in some panko breadcrumbs or in just a little bit of rice flour. I've had it prepared like that as well before. My mom roasted up some vegetables and made some salad. I'm not a big fan of salad, but I will definitely be eating the vegetables, so I will show you guys that. Tomorrow we are actually going to drive up a couple hours to close to the Canadian border to visit some outlets, but that will actually be my first intentional non-tracked, trying to be more intuitive day of eating. So I will take you guys through that, but I hope you enjoyed this footage of the food. Just to clarify, this is just catfish. It's called swai, S-W-A-I. Not too expensive of a fish. Very, very tasty. I highly recommend it, especially if you're not a big fan of that fishy taste. And I will see you guys in the next clip. So the next day we actually ended up being out and about for most of the day. Got a few different outfits for my photo shoot that I'm pretty excited about. I did bring along a variety of snacks just so I wouldn't get too hungry along the way. I did not track that entire day. I think I might have just tracked a Quest bar in my fitness pal just so I don't ruin my 100 or something day streak. For breakfast I had a little bit of smoked salmon with a little bit of cream cheese on some plain old white bread. But I brought along some Quest bars, I brought along some protein bars, I brought along a flat out fold-it wrap with some turkey slices and hummus in there just so I can have some higher fiber, higher protein, lower carb, lower fat meals throughout the day. So I did bring some light snacks along the way. I didn't really have any big heavy meals just because I knew I was going to be going out later in the evening and I really wanted to be able to kind of save my appetite for that, save a little bit of room for the meal that I knew I was going to enjoy more. And I didn't really get any footage of that because they weren't the most exciting meals and I was just kind of trying to keep it light. And I know you guys are all about the food porn, so I will show you guys what we got for dinner right now. It's Saturday night. I know I haven't vlogged in all day, basically since you last saw that last bit of footage, but we are at a Mediterranean/Indian restaurant, so I will do my best to just eat until I'm full and not eat emotionally and whatnot. This is the meal that I've kind of been planning my day around. You guys will probably see some of the footage of the food that I end up eating, which I've had before and I really enjoy. We got a garlic naan to share with the table. There's a spinach naan under there, and there's some paneer tikka, which is basically cheese. We got a shish kebab over here. My little brother got a shish kebab. And I got a Cedar's Delight. I got some chicken, I forgot what it's called. Some prawns. Some shish kebabs. Oh, this is shish taouk chicken. Some stuffed grape leaves, some veggies that I actually really like. All on top of basmati rice, and I'm gonna have a little piece of garlic naan. I'll probably have quite a bit more of that naan. It's pretty tasty because that comes with, and it comes with two different types of sauces. One's a mint one and one's a plum sauce. So I'm gonna have that, enjoy it. We'll see how this goes. Try not to eat it too quickly and really enjoy it every bite. Kind of hopefully stop when I'm full. So we got dinner around 6 p.m. and then a few hours later around 10 o'clock I went to go get some froyo with some of my friends and the Cookie Panda. I didn't really record too much in store, so I'll just kind of let the footage play for you guys because froyo is amazing. This is probably one of my favorite places. It's called Yeti Yogurt. It's really tasty and they have all sorts of cool toppings. But I did get quite a bit of froyo. I was pretty full afterwards. I think I could have definitely been a lot more mindful about eating and just paid more attention to my food because sometimes, and I think a lot of people do this, but they tend to kind of zone out as you're eating, especially when you're in a social setting, and then towards the end of your plate you realize, oh my gosh, it's all gone. And so that's not something I want to be doing with froyo. So definitely next time I go get froyo I'll be much more deliberate about actually sitting down and enjoying, trying to enjoy every taste. And then the other thing that I was really happy about is that I stayed up a few hours later after that, and when I got home to my room I didn't feel the need to continue the feast and keep eating, which is something that I've had a problem with before, where I'll go to a restaurant, I'll have a decent sized portion, I'll get pretty full, I'll eat enough, but then I'll get home and kind of continue the feast and keep eating things that I'm not really craving and I'm full, so why am I eating? But I didn't have that this time, which was pretty exciting, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. So that was my first non-tracked day of trying to intuitively eat, and we are back on the macros, gang, for the rest of the week, and I will show you some footage that I thought was pretty interesting because I was having some real deep life insights that came from eating a breakfast sandwich. I cooked basically the same breakfast that I've been making for the last couple of days, which is just basically 2 open-faced English muffin sandwiches. So breakfast McMuffins. And I've actually been getting better at cooking them. At first they were really ugly, but you know, as you keep cooking and as you keep trying the same, like, not the same thing over and over again, but as you keep modifying things and trying again, you get better. So I made these and they look significantly better than they have in the past, and they look much prettier. They've been tasting better, and this has just been like about a week and a half of me kind of playing around with the recipe. So this is very pertinent with me because I kind of sucked at cooking, and I'm still like not super great about it, but I keep kind of going back at it and keep trying, especially when I first started kind of cooking for myself, which was about 2 years ago. it was just everything I made just tasted terrible. I didn't want to waste my money or anything, so I would make recipes that looked really, really good and had great reviews on Pinterest and stuff, but for some reason, like, my technique was awful. I couldn't figure anything out, and it still happens every now and then. But I just wanted to say that when you're first starting to learn how to cook, or when you're first starting to learn how to lift, or whatever it may be, it's gonna suck the first few times. Like, if you try to cook something for the first time off a recipe and it turns out to be amazing and that's your first time ever cooking, you're friggin' Harry Potter or something. I don't know. That's not normal, because normally, even if you have a recipe exactly laid out to you, even if you have a perfect video of somebody executing a certain exercise and they say everything you need to do, just absolutely every little detail, it still takes trial and error. And it still takes you getting used to and adjusting your own technique and figuring things out for your own. So I've always kind of felt like a failure when it comes to cooking, because just the recipes I would make would always turn out terribly. But where I'm going with this is that even if something is laid out perfectly for you, and even if it seems like something is super easy and super obvious, the first few times, the first good amount of times that you do it, it's not going to be perfect. And you know, it'll never be perfect, but going back to the breakfast sandwich, the first few times I made it, it took forever. It would take me like half an hour, and then the egg would be runny, and I was having a hard time keeping the egg on top and all these weird things, and then I put the cheese on top so that it got stuck to like the roof of my mouth. But as I kept practicing it every day, one of the tricks I picked up was putting it into a cookie cutter mold, and then I realized like when I need to flip things, and I realized I don't need to flip things. And it's like the little things that you pick up along the way as you do something more, whether that's lifting or cooking or even studying or doing homework or practicing a skill. The little things that you pick up along the way from doing it over and over again and from practicing over and over again are the things that will add up to make the final product, you know, whether that's food or a certain exercise or your skill and speaking in public. Those little skills that you pick up along the way from practicing over and over again are the things that will set you apart and the things that will make the final product that much better. That was a lot of deep life analysis and insight from an Egg McMuffin sandwich. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little rant. I just wanted to say that because I get a lot of questions on like, oh, how do you make the stir fry? Or how do you make protein pancakes? Every time I try to make them, they're terrible. Yeah. Guess what? Mine were terrible at first too, and mine still come out terrible sometimes. But it's a matter of like practicing and figuring things out, and keep going back and keep practicing and keep trying to learn. Just keep going back, don't give up. And that's the lesson that we learned from Friday morning's breakfast sandwich. And I just can't seem to make a video without having some form of just pure chocolate and ice cream in it, so here you go. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm still kind of learning about intuitive eating, and I'm still kind of trying to figure out what it is I'm doing, but I'm trying as much as possible to keep you guys looped in, keep transparent as possible with you guys as I'm learning and as I'm coming across different challenges and experiencing those things. Please let me know in the comments below kind of what kind of videos and what kind of footage that you'd like to see in the future, because I know I've been focusing quite a bit on food. So let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you'd like for me to talk about or to get footage of. Here's the book that I keep talking about intuitive eating. Another really great resource that I highly recommend that I first learned about intuitive eating from is Josie Mai. She has an amazing YouTube fitness lifestyle channel. She's all about moderation, not deprivation, and fighting for balance. Those are kind of her mottos, and she definitely sets a really great example for how to do that. And I've definitely learned a lot of really awesome tips from her. So if you somehow are not following her, go check her channel out. She's absolutely fantastic. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what kind of topics, what kind of videos you'd like to see. If you liked the video, please hit that like button for me. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated and so we can grow as much as possible. And I love it when you guys introduce yourself in the comments below just so I can get to know who I'm actually talking to. I'll see you guys in a few days, and as always, don't stop growing.